Did you think I was gone forever?
It's safe to say we're all burned out on first-person shooters, not that this fact will in any way preclude the latest steaming ladle full of feculence being troweled out of the Call of Duty cafeteria from selling like a fucking AIDS cure, as if empathizing with our collective blasé, the Duke is back to remind us that this genre wasn't built on kill streaks and tactical nukes, it was built on bullets, blood, and heaving tits. I'll be forthright in my admission that I didn't care for shooters even back when the entire genre didn't consist of generic online frag fests. Even the handful that I played in earnest, GoldenEye, Perfect Dark, Battlefield 1942, I didn't so much enjoy as marginally tolerate their very existence. Once the entire FPS milieu became inundated with a modern variety of interchangeable, monochromatic mundanity that presently forms the centerpiece of every pop-collar frat-fucks entertainment center in the Western Hemisphere, however, I mentally reshuffled, and now FPS games lie somewhere between child rapists and Al-Qaeda on my shit list. The game may pass itself off as a lobotomized fragathon, but it's the small touches that exalt it above the brown and gray rank and file. The fact that any self-glorifying activity, be it lifting weights or admiring your roguish good looks in the mirror, naturally increases Duke's African continent-sized ego, which in turn gives you a permanent health increase, for example. The fully fleshed out minigames are downright impressive as well. I wasted hours just fucking around with a pinball machine, lifting weights and playing with remote control cars. It's an inspired design choice precisely because it encourages the player to engage the game in a context that doesn't involve centering your screen on the thing you want not to be alive. In the black hole of creativity that is the FPS genre, that makes this game the equivalent of fucking Shakespeare. Did I like the game?
You damn right!
For all its phallic posturing, Duke Nukem Forever's greatest strength, oddly enough, lies in its storytelling. And no, I'm obviously not referring to the lame Mars Attacks narrative the game is regurgitating like week-old cud. It's the little moments like the fucking hilarious Christian Bale bashing at the game's outset. It's genius in its own simplicity, and ultimately far more memorable than whatever uber-serious, flashy set-piece moment Infinity Ward plans to yank from the rectal cavity for the climax of Modern Warfare 3. Further, any first-person shooter with body awareness hits the scoreboard early with me. There's nothing more jarring to me than looking down at the floor in a video game and coming to the morbid realization that you are in fact playing as a floating severed torso. It's an added touch of realism that separates games that were made with love and care from shovelware that was hastily slapped together to placate the shareholders. I'm a human being, goddammit!
I'm a human being, goddammit!
Human beings have legs and feet, not a nondescript shadowy blob. Do your fucking job! Duke's multiplayer doesn't reinvent the wheel so much as it puts spinner rims shaped like buzzsaws on those sumbitches and tailpipes that shoot fucking fire. Case in point, they've replaced the tired FPS regurgitant that is online Capture the Flag with a mode called Capture the Babe. Basically, it's capture the flag if the flag had a pair of fake titties and didn't want to be captured. If you abduct this skittish slattern, she'll take it upon herself to try to help all the other players apprehend her abductor by hindering them, putting her hands in front of your eyes, for example. When she gets uppity, you can bring her back in line the only way a woman understands. A firm smack on the ass.
This isn't the time for that. I think I peed.
It's even more fun than it is misogynistic. And if it makes Rachel Maddow cranky, well, that's just icing on the cunt. Just as the pistol party's hitting its fever pitch, however, here comes everyone's least favorite modern gaming trope to spike the punch bowl and fuck up everyone's good time. I refer, of course, to quick time events. They aren't intrusive, and they are kept to a tasteful minimum in this case, although I'm reasonably certain it's illegal in 40 states to mention the words tasteful and Duke Nukem in the same sentence. It's not an unforgivable lapse, but it's a missed opportunity for Duke Nukem Forever to set itself apart from its contemporaries in ways that don't involve shit, blood, or nipples. If the quick time events are the proverbial molehill, then the loading times are the motherfucking Kilimanjaro. And that's not even cheap hyperbole. If you get even the faintest hint that this game is getting ready to load a level, Do some light activity while you wait. Paint a life-sized replica of the Sistine Chapel with fucking finger paint. Juggle a dozen live babies over a fire pit or some shit. And no, I'm not being facetious. Mark it down in your fucking day planner, because you could load a room full of musket rifles in the time it takes Duke Nukem Forever to load one goddamn hallway. In doing my requisite legwork in preparation for this review, I noted a decidedly negative slant to the so-called professional reviewers postulating on the subject. Now, I don't trust the Jim Sterlings of the world any further than I can throw them, which isn't going to happen for the simple reason that displacing that dildo's copious mass is likely to knock this fucking planet off its axis.
This is taking forever.
For every perfidious shitbird at IGN or Game Failers who gave Dragon Age 2 a score relative to the metric shitloads of ad revenue they furiously shovel into Viacom's posterior, there's the equally pernicious but inverse approach that's become increasingly prevalent. The pseudo-insightful, perpetually truculent so-called reviewers who make their cash by calling every game a festering sack of shit. I'm not going to name names, but it rhymes with zero punctuation. Neither disinformation merchant is telling you the truth, and both have an active incentive to piss on your shoes and tell you it's monsoon season. Yes, I'm fully aware of the innate irony of a program entitled The Rageaholic delivering this cautious exhortation, but I've actually counted, and of my 33 episodes, 5 of which don't qualify as reviews, 12 fall into the negative category, and 16 are positive. So pretend I've leaped on the back of that proverbial angry reviewer milk truck if you like, but the sky isn't hot fucking pink just because you say it is. Fact is, I enjoyed every minute of Duke Nukem Forever. Is it perfect? No! Ava Green's not perfect either, but that doesn't mean I wouldn't bend her over the love seat and make her spell the word run. Fact is, these fuckers didn't want to like the game, and by not being chiseled from solid diamonds and giving out free BJs during loading times, the game accommodated these reviewers in finding the flaws they were looking for. As was delineated in my Dragon Age 2 review, I define a bad game as any game which fails to attain what it strives for. Duke Nukem isn't the Noam Chomsky of video games, and it isn't trying to be. If it were, then it would have failed in that aim, and I'd call it a failure justifiably. But Duke Nukem Forever is just trying to make you laugh, then hold your interest with some very well-designed minigames, and then hurl ceaseless waves of shotgun fodder and nipples at you with enough frequency to send the average male into paroxysms of testosterone-fueled ecstasy. Listen the fuck up as I state this unequivocally while simultaneously erecting my middle finger and aiming it squarely in the direction of Duke Nukem Forever's Metacritic page. This game attains and even excels in each of those 3 areas, so shut the fuck up about how disappointed you are this game doesn't turn water into wine. That isn't its fucking job. Its job is to turn piss into Budweiser. As for whether that's an improvement or a downgrade, I'll leave that for you to determine. I'm Razor Fist. God fucking speed.
Let's rock.